everybody, thanks for joining me for this tutorial on how to make a fabric face mask for dummies. Now, I'm not saying you're a dummy, you're not a dummy at all, I'm the dummy. I don't sew. I actually own a sewing machine, and until this past week, I don't think I've ever used it. And I've certainly never hand sewn anything in my life. And yet I somehow managed to teach myself how to do this, just using a basic paper template that I traced it, and then I just kind of sewed it together in a way that just made sense to my brain. And I figured it out, trial and error. So what I'm saying is, if I can do this, anybody can do this. You do not need to know how to sew, because I don't know how to sew. And yet, it's not bad. It certainly works. So if you want to give this a try with me, it does take a while. So I'm just going to show you the basic instructions in the tutorial, and then you're on your own to sew in and out and in and out. And as a side note, because this is a craft that involves a very, very sharp needle, I do not recommend that you have your usual glass of wine with this. Oh! So yeah, attempt this only stone cold sober. I don't want to be responsible for any fatal crafting injuries, okay? So if you're ready, I'm ready. I'm pretty excited because this is kind of the coolest thing I think I've ever made with my own two little hands. So sit back, relax, let's do this, go team. And don't forget, if you want to see more tutorials, especially ones on how to do something if you're completely inept at most things, subscribe to my channel and follow along. You'll get alerts when I post a new video, which will hopefully be on the regular. Subscribe and tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like about it, and I'll make it better for you. Because did I do it? Did I do it right? I don't know, but thank you. I used a template that I found on a blog for Jennifer Maker. I think it's jennifermaker.com. And I just printed out the template. I just printed out this one page and used that to trace my fabric and cut it out. Now, Jennifer does provide some extremely thorough steps and a video tutorial on how to make these masks. Now for me, the reason I couldn't follow her tutorial is because it just assumed a lot of knowledge I didn't already have and some skill I certainly didn't already have. So I dumbed it down big time. Big league. So if you are a more accomplished seamstress or tailor, that's the word, then by all means go to Jennifer's blog and follow along. I watched the tutorial video, I swear to God, 10 times, and I still didn't get it. I still didn't understand what I was supposed to do. But at the very least, go get this, print it out. There are 3 sizes. This is the medium size for the average person, the average sized face. The smaller one is great for kids, and the larger one is great for people like my husband, who both have a, big head,
big lip,
also a beard. So aside from needing the paper template or print it out on, if you can do it on cardboard, trace it out on cardboard, it'll just be more durable for repeated use. So you will need that. You will need a sewing needle, obviously, thread, whatever color you like. You will need some, what are they called? Pins, that's it. Pins, because you're gonna hold everything together while you do your little sewing. And for this one, these ones take ties, so you can tie them around your face and adjust them and la la la. And I did it this way because there seems to be a shortage on flat elastic right now. Thanks a lot, crafters. So, but if you did, you can do it a variety of different ways, honestly. But I just did it like this. This is a kid's size one, incidentally. So I did it like this with a little bit of flat elastic I had. So that goes over the kid's head. So have either that, some ribbon, or, oh, a lot of people are using their, these hair elastics, this type of hair elastic. So that would just fit over your ears like that. So I don't know if I like the over the ear thing. I kind of like the behind the head thing, but personal preference, I guess. So ladies' choice and gentlemen's choice. Gentlemen sew too. Gentlemen also knit. Have you seen Outlander? Jamie knows how to knit. Just saying. And in case it wasn't obvious, you will also need scissors, sharp scissors, so it cuts through that darn fabric. And then, of course, fabric. Whatever fabric, I guess. Some people, if they don't have actual, you know, like quilting fabric or anything like that, are just cutting out t-shirts. Use that. Absolutely. I actually like the feel of the really soft cotton t-shirt as the inner layer, so then I'll save my patterned fabric for the outer layer, which is what I did for that little kid's mask I showed you, which I'm going to give to my daughter. So it's the nice cute yellow fabric on the outside and then the soft t-shirt fabric in the inside. Now, what you can also do, since as we know, cotton fabrics like this aren't exactly stopping any sort of real virusy type germs from getting through, you can actually leave a pocket at the side, so you would not sew the entire thing up, and you can give yourself a little filter in there. And I did a little research on the various types of filters you can put. So some people are using furnace filters and they're cutting them up, or the HEPA filters for vacuum bags, etc., etc. And I did find one website that there was a company that did a bunch of testing to see which would block the most in these types of masks, and they actually found that the most little itty-bitty particles were blocked by these guys. It's shop towels, just blue shop towels, come in a roll, and you can get them at whatever store, Home Depot, Lowe's, Canadian Tire. So yeah, make yourself a little filter using one of these, stick it in the pocket, take it out when you wash it, replace it, and there you go. A semi-effective face mask that is better than doing nothing at all. Am I right? Okay, let's begin. Part one of the project is going to be getting your fabric ready to sew. So number one, you're going to print that template I showed you. Where is it? Here we go. So number one, print. Number two, you are going to trace 4 pieces of these on your fabric. If you want contrasting patterns, then 2 pieces on your pattern fabric and then 2 pieces on your solid or whatever other color or pattern you like. You're going to cut out all 4 pieces and then we're going to pin them together. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So there are fabric pens, there are tailor's chalk, etc., etc. I think I already mentioned I'm not a seamstress, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use a pen, because who really cares? No one's gonna see the lines anyway, right? Oh, side note, because Lord knows I did this wrong the first time, don't just double up and then cut it that way, because you're gonna end up with some pretty funky pattern. Because once you do this one, you're gonna actually flip it and trace the mirrored version, and that's how you get one seamless piece of the same pattern. So don't be like me, be smarter than me. So using your pen or pencil, whatever the heck you have handy, trace away. Voila, pretty basic stuff, right? So next you're just gonna cut these out. Once you have all 4 of your pieces cut out, it is time to pin them together. Now, when it comes to all things sewing, even pinning things together to sew, there is a right way and a wrong way to do things. And since I have absolutely no idea what the right way is to do it, I'm just gonna show you my way. And listen, all you fancy sewers out there, please don't judge me. In fact, you shouldn't even be watching this. It's embarrassing. But the finished product, I promise you, is gonna be amazing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I get there, you know? Like a teenage boy. I don't know what I'm doing, but I will get you there. Okay. Oh, probably edit that part out. I don't know what that was. Okay, so the first side we're gonna stitch together is the curved side, like so. So, if you can see how I'm doing this here. I don't know. So we're just gonna pin it together here so that the material doesn't shift when we are sewing it. And I did mention we're doing this by hand, right? We are not using a sewing machine. We are going super old school. And yeah, this is for people who don't sew. So if you don't sew, why would you have a sewing machine? And this might be the one and only thing you ever want to sew. Like, this is it. If you wanted to learn how to do this technically speaking, then you could go watch many video tutorials on how to sew, how to hand sew, and learn how to do it. But if you're like, fuck it, I just want to make me a face mask, then yes, you are in the right spot, because that's what we're gonna do. Okay, you're all pinned. We're ready for the next step. Exciting. Remember, when you pin your pieces together, that you are going to be pinning them good sides, pretty sides together. So the pretty sides are going to be, smushing their faces together, because when we are finished all of our sewing, like a week from now, everything will be turned inside out, and you're not going to see all the ugly seams and stuff. That's the magic of sewing, apparently, which is what I have just recently found out. So if you have solid colors, then obviously it doesn't matter what way you do it, just line them up and pin them together. If you have a pattern, then yeah, make sure you can see that's the back side, that's the front side. So make sure the pieces are the 2 front sides together like a star sandwich. So once you have those together, then we're just gonna pin it like this. So everything stays put and you're sewing the edge together. Wow, maybe invest in some sharper pins than that. Wow. What can I say? I stole pretty much everything I'm using from my mom's sewing kit, which is quite literally from the early 1970s, and it is plastic wicker, and wow. So yeah. Okay, my sexy sewers. The next step is to thread the needle, which, if I recall, was actually a very cool dance move in the 90s. I'm pretty sure Vanilla Ice did it. Do you remember him? You hold the leg and then you jump up and you thread your other leg through your crossed leg. I don't know, I could never do it. It was a little scary. Okay, maybe it wasn't very cool, but whatever. So to thread the needle, honest to God, if you need me to tell you how to thread a needle, we have bigger problems, but I mean, what can I tell you? The needle. There's a little eye of the needle there. It's a little hole at the top. So you take a piece of thread and you thread it through the hole. Ooh, you pull it back around so you're left with this. 2 pieces of thread through, right? And then tie a knot in the end. That's it. I don't know how much more detail you need me to get into. So then we start sewing. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Why am I so nervous? I've done like 100 of these already, just in a week. So again, if you're looking for proper technique, that's not what you're gonna learn here, but you are gonna learn how to make a killer face mask. No, not killer, it's not gonna kill you, it's gonna keep you alive. And it's gonna stay together and it's gonna be really strong. So who cares if the stitching technique is like, right? I don't know. So I just, oh, and you want your seam here to be, I guess that's about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch is where you're gonna start sewing there, something like that. It's not like mine's straight all the way through. Okay, stop talking about it. Just put the needle through. You can do this, just do it. Okay, all right, I've done it. I've poked it through. So you poke it through. Ooh, that's a long thread. And then I'm simply just doing this. I'm quite sure there is a word for this specific kind of stitch, but I'm trying to do this so you can see it. So I'm just poking it back through beside its little friend that just came out. And, oh geez Louise. And there, you see that? One little lone stitcheroo. And yeah, so you basically just keep doing that for what seems like an eternity until until that whole curved side is all stitched up. So I'm going to spare you and just fast forward through this. However long that may have taken you, you'll get no judgment from me. The first one I did, I'm pretty sure took me 6 hours or so. So yeah, if you're back and you're wearing a new outfit because it's the next day for you, good for you. Way to persevere. I like it. So now that you've got your 2 pieces, which should be sewn together on the curved side, you're gonna take them and open your pattern side. Right, okay. So once again, see, I have to think really hard about this. Your pretty sides, your pattern sides, or good sides that are gonna end up on the outside, they're gonna go together. Of course, if we were doing this the super proper profesh way, we would actually pause at this point and we would iron these seams flat, iron these guys open flat like that. Let me tell you, I did the first few. Yes, I did. I ironed them both flat as a pancake, and it was a real pain in the ass. It's really hard to iron something like that all the way down on a curved thing. So I decided on my next one that I would just skip it and see what happened. And you know what? I didn't notice a difference. So yeah, let's skip it. So first, let's line up these guys as much as you can so it'll look nice and neat when it's all sewn together. Just start pinning there. It is an absolute miracle that I have not pricked myself yet. But I haven't. There's been no blood, believe it or not. So same thing down here. Just line those seams up like that. And then pin it together so it doesn't shift when you're sewing. Okay, so I usually stop at about there. So basically the top and the bottom have been pinned together, like so. And I'm gonna start sewing the top and the bottom, and after that, we're gonna start attaching the ribbons while we still have a couple of open sides there, okay? If you've made it this far, congratulations. I salute you and I'm proud of you. So you should have this by now. You should have sewn the long sides together like so and left the ends open like so, because we're gonna put our either ribbon or elastic or whatever you choose. You can kind of attach it however you choose too. This is the thing, once again, no rules. So I think I'm gonna use some flat elastic. I cut these to about 12 inches, 12 to 13 inches, depending, I guess, on how big your head is. You can kind of estimate, do you want it tight? Do you want it not tight? I don't know, but ish. That's how big. And I also wanted to show you, if you're just looking around to use stuff that you have at home. I actually had a couple of these headbands for my daughter. You know, these just, I don't know what you do with them, but anyway. And so I had 2 of them, so I just cut them. And I did actually make one of my first masks with these, and as it turns out, they're incredibly comfortable. Lots of stretch and a wider band. That's a good 3/4 of an inch, I think, or 1/2 inch. So yeah, it doesn't dig into your head or bother your ears or anything, and it kind of anchors the mask in place quite nicely, I thought. So yeah, raid your drawers in the bathroom and see if you have any spare headbands or old headbands. Upcycling, very good. Bonus points for upcycling. And this is almost upcycling because I did not buy these. These came from that 70s treasure trove that is my mom's old sewing basket. So I shit you not, these things are actually, they've yellowed with age. Look at that. They've actually yellowed. They're not white anymore. It's crazy. I'm surprised they actually have any elasticity left in them, but they do. They do, just like my mom. Plenty of elasticity. She's looking good. So yeah, okay. Let's do it with these elastics because they're the most commonly used for these face masks. So I'll show you how to get cracking on attaching these guys. So the elastics are going to be attached internally here. So we're not going to sew them on the outside because we want them to be in here for when we fold everything inside out and it's nice side out. So what you can do to start is just kind of put that inside there a little bit. Okay, so we're basically just going to sew these one side to the other. So we're not making the ones that loop around your ears because, as I mentioned before, I don't know, I just don't love those. So basically, if you can picture the mask like this, okay, this is inside and it's going to go all the way to the other side in there, okay? So it might be easier for you if you pin this in place, or you can just freestyle it, which is what I'm going to do. So I would just leave about a 1/2 inch border on either side there. Okay, so snug that little guy in about 1/2 inch. And then just the same as you were doing before. In and out, and in and out, and in and out with the thread. And I would go back and forth a few times just to make sure that that guy is not going anywhere. Oops. Oh, and you can break your thread and then start again. So just go over it as many times as you feel is necessary for it to be secure, and we're also going to be stitching over it one last time when we close up that side. So that ain't going nowhere. What a mess of thread I have right now. I'm trying to show you how I kind of tie it off at the end. I vaguely remember my mom showing me something like this when I was a kid. So I push the needle through, and then I bring it back. Don't pull all the thread through so you still have a loop. And then bring it back through. Okay. And then, oh, hi loop. Where were ya? Okay. And then just thread your needle through that loop 2 or 3 times so it creates a knot when you pull it tight, like so. And then just snip it off. Once you've got that end reasonably secure, and we're gonna go down here to the other side and fish it out. Make sure it's nice and flat all the way, which it seems to be. Okay. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. So about there looks good, I think, to me. You could actually measure, like some people do, so that it's in the same spot on either side. I don't know, who's got time for that, really? Am I not sewing my thumb to this? I'm not sure, honestly. Now that you have all 4 ends attached, ooh, it's starting to look like a mask in there. Believe it or not, all you really have to do now is sew up this end. Make sure you might want to go over once or twice over where the elastic is here, just to make sure it's all nice and tightly in there. So seal that one up completely. And on the other side, what you can do, and I do recommend that you do this, is I would sew 1 inch on either side and then leave the remaining couple of inches here open. You can just kind of thread around the edge there to keep it from fraying. Again, I know there's a term for that type of stitch. Don't ask me what it is. Maybe it's a finishing stitch because you do it when you're trying to finish. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, that's not a lot left to do. I mean, you've probably watched, what, 3, 4 episodes of Outlander by now? Not bad. You know, not a bad way to pass the time. Got nothing to do while you're being socially distant anyway, right? Sit on your couch, watch Outlander, and sew yourself a mask. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish these last little bits here, that end, and then a couple inches there, and then the big reveal. Very exciting. Remember when I said that you should leave that gap there for a filter if you wanted to put it in and out? Well, I totally forgot to add that you actually have to leave a gap regardless, because if you didn't, how on earth would you turn it right side out? Oh gosh. Well, anyway, you should have a filter pocket, so hopefully you did that anyway. If you didn't, just remove some stitches. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Okay, so I'm very excited because this might be the first time I have done a mask from almost start to finish without any major screw-ups. So I might have jinxed myself there, but drum roll. Let's see what we have here. So I'm gonna gently turn this inside out. You can always leave a bigger space to turn it inside out if you want. It's just a little bit more to finish at the end, but that's okay. Ooh. Oh my God, it's so exciting. Sorry. Just feeling really overwhelmed right now. It's just so beautiful, and I'm just so happy that you joined me. Hold on. I'm gonna get some cleavage and some masky mask. Oh my gosh. Look at that, guys. Look at that. We did it. really, truly did it. Look at that. It's strong too. Everything's lined up. Damn. Look at that. Wowie wow. Now at this stage, you could take an iron. You can be careful not to iron the elastic because that might melt or something. But you could take an iron and then just flatten that out a bit so it looks a lot neater and nicer. But holy smokes. Look at that. I hope yours turned out to be something like that. And P.S., in case you didn't notice, fully reversible. So if you're having a pink day, go pink. If you're having a blue stars day, you can do that too. La 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 la, la 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 la. Woo! Thanks everybody for joining me on this adventure in sewing for people who don't know how to sew. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. If you did, let me know in the comments. And if you have any ideas for other simple stuff that people who don't know how to sew could learn how to sew, let me know. I'll definitely try to do it. So subscribe to the channel so you can catch all my upcoming videos, be it sewing or paper flowers or who knows what. The possibilities are endless. So see you next time. And remember, if you're not having fun crafting, you're doing it wrong.